We absolutely, I'm going to say again, for the anti-white censors, we oppose war, we oppose violence of all sorts, and we believe that no good will come to us and our cause by any act of violence or illegality whatsoever. Only bad will come to our cause, our people, and our efforts to bring love to our people by any single act of illegality or violence. So we not only reject violence, but we reject positive outcome by way of violence. Never put your faith in, never again, never in government, never in an individual, never a politician, never this leader or that leader, never again. From now on, the way we undermine control of the leadership, the office. This is the 200 level of IQ for those who are behind the chair of the office, ladies and gentlemen, is they control the office, they control the individuals behind the scenes. The way we undermine that is you and me deciding whether or not the office, the individual, the government, whatever the entity might be, that we decide that it is good when it serves my well-being, and it is for the refuse then when it doesn't. So we can love a guy today because he's doing X, Y, or Z for my well-being, and tomorrow he decides he's going to do something that is going to inflict harm on my well-being. We show up at that bastard's house. What he did the day before doesn't matter. We show up we don't do violence. We show up at his house with placards. We show up at his work with placards. Do let the person, the leader, the government, the chair, the empty chair of the office, do let them know what you think about them. When they decide they're going to serve some anti-white effective because their handlers told them so. Then what ends up happening is, when the handlers and the anti-whites the money, the anti-white leads show up and they say, okay, we've built up this great halo effect on you, now you're going to beat them down a dead alley. He or she's going to say, well, wait a second. They're going to show up with placards. They're not going to accept this. They're not going to say, well, I was a good guy yesterday. They're going to say, what the hell am I doing today? That is how we undermine them. This is game theory, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 3D chess. You want to make sure that every morning when your feet hit the floor, that the hearts of the anti-whites tremble. They want to dread, you want them to dread and fear that you are going to be going out into the world and spreading white well-being, that you're going to be teaching our people how to love ourselves and identify with us again. That is what you want them to be afraid of. For those serving white well-being, there is one master in this world. One thing that matters, one thing that you always bend your knee to and nothing else. And that is the spirit of the West. Then what is good for Western kind is good, and what is bad for Western kind is bad. Now, we can disagree on how we get to that outcome, but if that is our outcome, and there is no way we can go wrong, if that is the objective that we are all arguing for, there is no way we can screw this up. Because it's not going to be one here, one there, one group here, one group there. It's going to be the fluidity and dynamism of Western kind. In this town, in this county, in that city, in that high-rise, in that basement of that restaurant, in all of these places, if they were all bending only to the one master, the spirit of the West, they cannot go wrong. Where you go wrong is when you decide that a man, or a woman, or a movement, or an idea is more important than the spirit of the West. That is where you go wrong. Nothing is more important than the spirit of the West. One master. How does this play out in your life? It plays out this way. The conversation about Putin goes like this. Is Putin for Western kind, or is he against Western kind? What matters is, does Putin do something good for Western kind on Monday? Does he do something good for Western kind on Tuesday? Does he do something good for Western kind on Wednesday? If he does, then you can like him. If he doesn't, then you hate him. That's how it works. Same thing holds true. For me, there is no reputation that gets you by. There is no person who winks and nods and dog whistles about maybe I'm supporting you, maybe I'm not. No, it is all or nothing. No more politics, no more beating the TV to politicians. From now on, if anybody you know says Putin is going to do this for us, or Trump will do that for us, or Pi really likes us this way, or maybe this other person over there, you immediately ask them, why are you putting the onus and burden and work on them? The only reason you would do that is so that you can have nothing to do. So get off your lazy ass. You can say this person did something good for Western kind, but what's now important is you are going to go out into the world and you are going to make it happen. You are going to be the change that you want to see. You are going to be the proselytizer. You are going to be the apostle that wakes up the next 1,000, the next 10,000, the next 100,000 of our people. You are going to be the person who finds out the method by which we can channel this information into the minds of 1 million of our people. The only thing that matters is the service to that one master. Ideologies, political parties, individuals, ideas, that's all that matters. And if you decide that that is how you're going to view the world and view all people, one master for them all, you can never screw this up again. Because all that matters is where the rubber meets the road. All that matters is what he's doing, is it good for us or not? When it comes to historical figures, the anti-whites, listen closely. When it comes to historical figures, the anti-whites like to conflate you with people they've already demonized. Do you like person X? Well, if that person did anything that served white well-being in accord with your morality, you like those actions, you like those statements. Beyond that, you have no knowledge of anything else. Beyond that, you don't care. That is how you don't get conflated. people ask you to give your stamp of approval on the totality of someone's life, forget about it. You never answer to anti-white hypotheticals, ever. When they ask you, well, what would happen in this hypothetical scenario, non-whites, are they victims then? Or white people, are they superior then? You don't answer that. You say you do not answer to anti-white hypotheticals. End of conversation. Do you laud or do you condemn? Do you forgive and give excuses because he has done something good in the past, even though now he's harming Western kind? Hell no. This is the only mechanism by which we can control those figures that potentially people behind the scenes are controlling. Here's how it works, ladies and gentlemen. I've just given you the skeleton key, and if we all use it, we win. How does that work? How does that sound to you? This is how it works. Shadowy figure comes up from behind the scenes. Not very shadowy, because their names and faces are out there. They just won't be written about in the machine's media very often. They show up behind some personality. They co-opt them, and they put them out in front of you. Calculatingly happen to do a couple things, so they build a reputation up as somebody who cares about you all, and then the poison. They serve the interests of those behind the scenes. And why does it work for them? It works for them because he don't hate that SOB the moment he turns his back on us, the moment he cuts our throat. The way you prevent this from happening in the future is you laud the behavior, the actions that serve white well-being, and you condemn the behaviors and actions and statements that serve white ill-being. And you soundly condemn them. That hundreds or thousands of people would show up outside his house with placards that said, "Go straight to hell for taking our money and doing this with it. You're no leader of ours. You are a carpetbagger. You are a chameleon. You are counterfeit." If he knew that hundreds or thousands would show up, if he knew that when he would go to the grocery store, no, I'm gonna end up in front of I'm gonna look out my window and there's gonna be 500 people with placards telling me to go to hell for this. I don't know that it's worth the money you're trying to pay me. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the skeleton key. One master. It's the spirit of the West. All that matters is what we do in service to white well-being. We go against the service to white well-being. We serve white ill-being. You hate us for it. That's all that matters. That is how we control from this side of the game board. If these folks who are serving ostensibly white well-being know that if they run afoul and begin to serve white ill-being, that they are going to have those results. It's going to be a lot harder. Conservatism Inc. railroads and blind leads our people into these dead-end alleys. So they have nothing to do but throw their hands in the air, cover their eyes, and close their minds to anything else that could save us. This is the skeleton's key. One master. Never forget it. It's not human. It's the spirit of the West. It resides in all of us. And if we're not serving it the moment we're not, you condemn the person. It's one of those perennial things. People want to be lazy. They don't want to have the muster of courage. And both of those things impel them to put faith into individuals, faith into parties, faith into movements, faith into ideas that otherwise are undeserving. And it also causes them to give forgiveness where forgiveness isn't warranted or due. So many good people. It is an honor to be here, shoulder to shoulder with you, just like the Spartans at Thermopylae. Our shields raised, our shields crossing over each other's left shoulders, and our spears standing tall and proud toward the advancing swarms of anti-whites. We will not be defeated. If there was a percentage of the white population that were all using the 5P concept, it would be done for the anti-whites. It would be over. In every country that happened then. Over. Guaranteed. There's nothing that can stop the power of the white race, Western kind, unleashed. And we are, as I described in my book, we are like the eagle that has had its wings feathered its entire life. And it just trods along the ground like all the other flightless birds, never realizing, feeling the yearning, but never realizing that it can soar among the clouds. That's why we have to treat ourselves with the anti-white concepts that we refer to as mean pathogens. Treat ourselves with those infections so that we can begin to access those powers. Everybody that does it, there's no like weird magical thing. There's no weird, nothing weird at all that you have to do. No mystery, nothing arcane. I just said it. That's exactly how it works. Very simple, very straightforward. Just like working out. It's as straightforward as working out. You put in the time, you get the results. Put in the time to do the right thing, you get the results. And that same thing happens with white well-being. There's nothing that can stop the power of the white race, of Western kind, unleashed. You want to complain about the power of the money brokers behind the scene. It doesn't matter how much money they have. You'll see that you can control those people who claim to be representing you quite easily.